Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Matt, and this is Worm Wednesday for the last week in June. This week, we're going to look at 3 bins. We're going to look at my cocoon-only bin with European Nightcrawlers. We're going to look at my neglected European Nightcrawler bin and my neglected Red Wiggler bin that left set up for 7 months, or not 7 months, 7 weeks. If I'm looking at the wrong spot, I am sorry. It's really weird to look at the camera when you could see yourself right there in front. But yeah, so for those of you guys that don't know, I do most of my worming in my garage in Louisiana, and it is super hot. So what I've had to do is all of my breeder trays I've closed out, and I've put them into my Vermibag Mini, my Vermibag Mammoth, or my other Vermibag Mini that's in the house. I've got a Mini with Africans, a Mini with Red Wigglers, and my Mammoth has Africans, Euros, Red Wigglers. There's probably some blue worms in there. Let's just be honest. There's a hodgepodge. But that's what I'm doing until it cools off a little bit. My garage, it is consistently at 98, 99, 100 degrees, and it is miserable to work in here. So I've dumped the trays, and everything seems to be doing okay. Like I said, this week we're going to look at European Nightcrawler cocoons, the 2 bins that I neglected, and in the next week I'm going to be setting up another 4th bin. That's a little 5-gallon tote bin. It's something I learned from Bentley, the compost guy, Christie, when he talks about insurance bins. I'm going to set it up with African Nightcrawlers. That way I have all 3 of the species that I focus on in a bin that I can keep in the house hidden from the wife, so she will never know that they're in there. But yeah, guys, I hope that you find the video quality a little bit better this week. I use my tripod, I use the lights, and I think I kept the thing oriented the right way so it'll stay widescreen. Let me know how I did in the comments down below. If this is your first time, please subscribe and give me the thumbs up. All right, guys, enjoy Worm Wednesday. Hey guys, what is up? First thing we're going to do is we're going to look at these European Nightcrawler cocoons. I actually have the phone on a tripod, so we're going to see if this can get any better. If you recall, last week I fed these guys part of a banana, and I am not seeing any parts of a banana in here, but I am seeing some little European Nightcrawlers all throughout here. So they have probably eaten all of the banana. So we're going to feed them again this week and see what happens. I don't know if you can see this little guy right here. Good looking little worm. Pretty guy, I think his name's Fluffy. So what I got for food this week is I got some frozen fruit. I've got part of an orange. Looks like an apple. Banana, not bananas, more apples. I thought I had some strawberry tops in here, but I don't. So what I'm going to give these guys this week is a couple of little slices of banana, and I'm going to keep up the same thing and just feed them. I'm going to feed them right here. But first, I'm a little bit concerned about how wet this is. It's not wet by any stretch of the imagination. It's just a little bit more damp than I would like. So I'm just going to take some of this newspaper and rip it up a little bit. Worms like newspaper, if you didn't know that. This is a newspaper ad from the grocery store. So I'm just going to put these 2 little apple slices right there. And I'm going to cover it up with casting so it doesn't start to stink or anything like that. What that's going to do is that is going to allow that newspaper to absorb the water from the thawing apples and also start collecting, wicking up some of this water that was in here that was beneficial for the worms to help them hatch. So yeah, that's the plan there. I don't know if you guys can see this little fella right here, but there's a little Euro. There's quite a few of them in here. I have not taken the time to count them. I will not count them. I value my time more than that. But they're getting a little bit of size on them. Like I said, I'm gonna let this run until I start noticing these little guys reproducing. So I don't know how long that'll take, but we'll find out. I was excited about this bin because this is the first time I've ever had success getting cocoons to hatch. So yeah, every other week when I update these, my 3 bins, I'm always gonna start with this cocoon only bin. That way you guys can monitor its progress with me if you want to. All right guys, I'm gonna pause this and I will get the next bin. Hey guys, I am back with the second bin. This is the little bin that had, I started with 25 European Nightcrawlers, and I just let them sit. They were neglected and not taken care of for about 2 months. This bin is super wet. Let's see if I can grab something here I don't see a worm in. Look at that. That is wet and nasty. So what I'm gonna do is make sure I put some dry bedding in here. Again, I fed over on these sides. Obviously it was that side. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there are worms. They did survive the long wait. They lost a lot of size. These worms were much bigger. Well, the worms that I put in here were bigger than this. These guys, let me make sure I'm in the right bin. Yeah, it says European Nightcrawlers. So these guys were much bigger, or the original worms I put in here were bigger. I'm not seeing any big worms now, just a bunch of little bitty worms. I mean, this guy's got some size on him, but he's not big by any stretch of the imagination. My container size will also limit their size. This is just a little 10-gallon tote. So I fed on this side over here, and I had part of an apple in there. It is all gone. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move over to the opposite side. I'm gonna put me back a spot. This has got a lot of bedding and chopped up leaves and everything still in it. But much like the other bin, I'm wanting to start drying it out some. So I'm gonna give this a pretty good sprinkle of newspaper. And I think there's a toilet paper roll in there if you're curious. So there's that. And I'm gonna give these guys a couple of apple slices as well. If you notice, I'm not feeding these worms very much at all. I'm wanting to get the moisture right in the system and really kind of get these guys used to being fed because they've been neglected for a hot minute. Plus, these are the bins that I keep hidden from my wife, so she doesn't know they're in the house. I just move them in the garage when it's time to do these updates and then move them back. Don't tell her. So again, I'm gonna cover this up. To stop it from stinking. I mean, that guy's got a little bit of size on him, but he's not fish bait quality by any chance. I don't know if you can see his striping in the camera there. He's a good looking worm. In case you're wondering, all of these systems had grit in them when I started them. I am out of crushed eggshells at the moment. So this weekend I will be doing eggshells and everything so I can start adding grit back into the system. Yeah, so that's it for this European Nightcrawlers. Let me get this switched out and I'll show you the red wigglers real quick. Okay guys, so yeah, I switched everything out. Now I'm here with the red wigglers. Adjust my light a little. I told you I was going to promise to work on my camera work, so I hope you appreciate my diligence here. There we go. Again, I fed on this side, and you can see there are red wigglers in here. Oh, look, there is actually a bunch of little red wigglers in here. Right here, this whole section is covered in little bitty baby worms. So this must, yep, this is that leftover little piece of banana skin from where I fed them last week. It is just covered in little bitty red wigglers everywhere. So that is awesome and makes me smile. But that's not a whole lot of food. They'll get through that pretty quick. So I'm gonna feed this system pretty lightly. Again, it's super wet. I don't know if that's showing up on camera, but I can really wring out water pretty easy. So the main reason I'm feeding these guys is to get some dry material in the system here to kind of help dry it out some. Matter of fact, I'm only going to give these guys this little bitty one piece of apple slice and all that newspaper to get through. And I'm going to cover it back up. So I'm sure you guys can see I use these flat rate envelope things to kind of cover up and help keep moisture in. I'm gonna try this again this week, and if the system doesn't dry out some, I'm gonna get rid of these covers for a week and really try. Oh, look at that. We got one who wants to go wandering. I don't know if you guys can see him on the end of my finger, but he was crawling up the side, so let's put him back in there. Get back in there and eat that apple, bro. Fluffy. And we'll cover this back up.